Hi, I'm Zettai and welcome back to the video. So if you've been by my channel before, you might have seen that last season, winter 2021, I reacted to the Promised Neverland season 2. I had really high expectations because season 1, 2 years before that, took my breath away. I was hooked from episode 1. It was like an instant 10 out of 10. It was awesome. If you've seen it, you probably agree with me. But then season 2 didn't quite live up to season 1 in my opinion. I know a lot of manga readers were angry, disappointed. I felt like it was a bit too rushed, and the ending was the biggest disappointment for me. It was just, what was that? It was like a PowerPoint. A lot of people called it the promised PowerPoint. It was like a montage, and apparently it skipped lots of arcs. I keep hearing about the Goldie Pond arc, which I have no idea what it's about, but it was people's favorites and it was completely removed. And it was all just 11 episodes of just not what people wanted and not what I wanted even as a manga or like an anime only. I hadn't read the manga, but I'd only seen the anime. And so lots of people constantly told me on my videos, read the manga, read the manga, read the manga. And some people were like, oh, we'd like to see what you think about the manga. So that's why I've started this new series where I'm going to be reading the Promised Neverland manga and reacting to it, giving you my thoughts, discussions, you know, I want to talk about it with you guys. So the way I have planned to do this is to go through the manga arc by arc, doing a separate video for each arc. Starting with the first arc, which is called the Introduction arc, which covers chapters 1 to 9 of the manga, which is volumes 1 to 2, and the anime, it said it was episodes 1 to 3. So I have been reading, I read the first 9 chapters, I took notes, I took screenshots so that I would remember what I wanted to say. Since I have seen the anime, I will be comparing the anime and the manga for the parts that the anime has covered and adapted, but let's just get into it. So the first thing that I noticed when I started reading the manga was each page, or a lot of the pages, are so jam-packed with so much going on. The drawings, it took me a while to take it all in because there was just so much. Like the first page even is the start, like the anime, with Emma waking up and all the kids waking up, and it's just, there's so much to look at. It takes a while to like look at everything, look at all the detail. It's very well detailed. The one who drew the manga panels is very talented. They put so much detail in drawing every single character and every little nook and cranny of every room, and every scene is just very well done. But it's also, it takes a while to get used to how much is going on. Also, the manga style is pretty, of course, but it's a bit different to the anime, which I found I had to get a bit used to. I mean, most characters look the same. Emma looks pretty much the same. Ray as well, he looks the same. But Norman looks a bit different. Okay, I don't know. I quite like his anime design a bit more. I don't know if it gets more like the anime as the manga goes on, but a few of the times I wasn't quite enjoying his drawing, but that might just be me. I don't know. What do you guys think? But yes, the drawing is very good. The art style is really nice. From the get-go, we are introduced to our trio, Emma, Norman, and Ray, and all the kids, and it is pretty much the same as the anime, with Emma running in with the kids, and you see how happy and joyful she is, and then Norman and Ray greet her in the dinner hall where they're about to eat breakfast, and it really gives you a vibe of what these characters are like. You can tell straight away what kind of characters they are, and it gives you a bit of a summary as well of each character, a bit about them, which I quite liked. It wasn't needed, but it was nice. Also, the whole first chapter we have Emma narrating, and not just in the first chapter, we have her narrating in quite a few chapters, which is nice. It's a nice thing to add on. Nice to have more explanation, I guess. Because in the anime, you could kind of see more, whereas the manga, you're limited to amount of words and panels and stuff. So having Emma narrate in little segments is quite nice. What I did notice though was the anime didn't start in the same way as the manga. So the manga starts off right with the kids waking up in the morning, whereas the anime gave us that scene at the gate with smaller versions of Norman and Emma and Ray looking out the gate and being like, oh, I wonder what's out there. What are you gonna do when you go out to outside world? And then Emma's like, I want to ride a giraffe. I thought that was exactly how the manga started, but it wasn't. That part actually came in 20 pages in, so I was like, it's a bit different. I think maybe I prefer how the anime did it because it gives us more of a feel of like they're kind of in a prison, you know, and they're not in the outside world, and a nice little prologue kind of. But the manga doesn't do that, which is fine. The manga just has it 20 pages in, but I did quite like how the anime did it. We also meet Isabella, Of course we do. And her design is pretty similar as in the anime. I think she just looks a tad different, maybe more like the adult figure she's meant to be. I mean, the kids all look a bit smaller in the manga, and Isabella looks more like the adult and the only adult that's there. And they actually look quite intimidating as well, especially Sister Crone, but I'll get into that later. Now, like in the anime, we go straight into a game of tag, and this is the point where I miss the anime because yes, the drawings are incredible for the game of tag. It's really, really well done, but they're not moving, you know? It's not the animation, so we don't get to see the smooth, fluid animation of the Promised Neverland like that we're used to, with them running around playing tag and all the action sequences and all that, and swinging on branches and jumping over rocks and all that, like in the opening as well, which is probably one of the best parts of the whole anime. Ugh, I miss seeing the actual actions of them playing tag, but it was still very good and it was well drawn. Another thing is, really early on we get to see in the manga how much Norman understands Emma. We see this in the anime, but not as much as in the manga, I think. Like, from the very first chapter, we see that they could have not taken the rabbit to Connie. Norman says to Emma, oh, we could just wait and give it to Mama and see what she says. But then he's like, but you want to take it back now. He understands her and he knows what she's thinking, what she's saying. And I love that they make an effort to show that, because it starts off the relationships between the kids, and we get to see what kind of person Norman is even more, what kind of person Emma is instantly, and their dynamic, which in my opinion is one of the best parts of the anime as well, and the manga. And lastly, in the first chapter, we obviously get that scene where we see Connie is dead, and we meet the demons, and we find out that Isabella is not as good as we thought. And I loved the drawings the manga did for this. It really captured the horror element that the anime also gave us, that this is absolutely horrifying, that the mother is using them as food, the demons are going to eat them, and Connie is dead. It was almost as good as the anime maybe, but the way that the eyes and the expressions are drawn is really good. And the demons are very detailed and drawn with such accuracy and such, just like, it gives you chills how they look, and they look scary. They make me scared looking at it. They're obviously meant to make the kids scared, and you can see on Norman and Emma's faces that they are terrified. So I didn't expect the first chapter to be the complete first episode of the anime as well. It is 50 pages, which is longer than the rest of the chapters so far. The rest that I've read are around 20 pages each, but the first was 50. And it is exactly the first episode, but in manga form. So from that, I know the anime went for the full chapter experience, and it was very good. It was very well done. It did not feel rushed. Also, after that scene, after when they come out, when Norman and Emma leave, and Emma's crying and screaming, and Norman, the shock, and how he's trying to comfort Emma, but he is taking it as just as bad. That was really well demonstrated in the manga. I love that. I love that. It was just as good as the anime, that scene. But then moving on to chapter 3. Chapter 2 was pretty much the same as the anime. There wasn't anything. What was interesting about chapter 3 was we get introduced to Isabella's past quite early on. So in the anime, we don't find out that she was just like the kids, being raised to be eaten until the very end. So it's like the last episode of the anime, I think, where we see a bit of her past. Whereas in the manga, it's chapter 3, and they show you that she's doing this all for survival and how she has the numbers on her neck. And I don't know why they decided to do it differently in the anime, but it was nice to give us a little insight into Isabella early on and know that she was in the same situation as them, and then that gives more mystery into how she became like this, how she came to this point, and why she is doing what was done to her in the first place. Then moving on to chapter 4, we get the part when Ray finally discovers the truth as well, though he kind of knew, didn't he, since he has all his memories? I don't know. I don't know if that's revealed there in the manga. It wasn't really talked about in the anime. But he goes and spies on Emma and Norman, and he finds out that they're trying to escape and that they were being eaten and stuff. And being Ray, he takes it very well. But what was really interesting about this is in the anime, when Ray asks Norman, like, why are you doing this? You know we can't all escape. And then Norman's like, well, because I like Emma. What was different, I don't know if this is just a translation error or a difference in translation anyway, but in the manga, Norman says he loves Emma. Is that meant to be, like, deeper? I don't really know. I just picked up on it because I even went and rewatched the scene because I was pretty sure he said liked, but in Japanese it's ski desu or ski, which is love and like. They use it interchangeably. I don't really know. I don't know the Japanese language. But in the manga he says, I love Emma, and I just thought I'd point that out because it was different to the anime. Then moving on, another thing I want to mention is I like the use of imagery a lot in the manga, which isn't really shown in the anime. A lot of the time they bring this whole game that's going on between Emma and Norman and Ray and Mama, Isabella, into the imagination of a chess game. We see this a lot, a chessboard drawn, and they're making moves against each other, but then they also go back to when they were younger and Isabella always beat them at chess, and that worries them that they won't be able to win and all that. I really like the use of the chessboard. You see this used a lot in anime and manga. For example, Code Geass, Lelouch plays the whole anime like a chessboard. And also Terror and Resonance, there was the whole part in the airport with chess. Chess is a very big part of those anime that have very smart characters. I think even Light uses chess in Death Note, I don't know. But they use it very well in the Promised Neverland with these smart kids playing chess, and it's all like a game, but it's a lot more serious than that. And then we have chapter 5, where at the very end, Sister Crone and a new baby are introduced. And Sister Crone's introduction comes as a great shock to the kids, which is shown a lot better in the manga. Because in the manga, you see what they're thinking all the time, and you see the thought process. They were just made to do chores. They thought it was meant to be a distraction. But in the end, it turns out that Isabella was trying to buy time until Sister Crone appears and acts as another set of eyes. And this changes a lot. It's actually, we see that the kids start to panic a bit about it. They get very worried, which is shown a lot better in the manga than the anime, in my opinion, because we see their thoughts. It's the fact that we can see what they're thinking. Now that they have another adult watching, they are very intimidated. And it shows what a big deal to have another adult is, because they were not expecting this, and they realize that the adult makes a big difference to their escape plan, because now there's more than one enemy. They treat Mama, Isabella, as the enemy, and now they have another enemy that they have to overcome and they have to face to escape. Another thing that I really liked as I kept reading was just the way that the kids facing Isabella is portrayed. It's made to seem like a mind battle between the trio and Emma, and each of them making moves. Again, like the chess imagery, it's very much like that. And it's more a game of wits and who can outsmart the other and strategy. I like that a lot. The strategy is really emphasized in the manga more than I saw in the anime, especially since that is Norman's biggest aspect, his biggest strength. And Ray is very much of a strategist, and it's more, we see Emma trying to become more like them, trying to form strategy, and we see that actually play out later on. And I really like that. I like that they focus on the mind games more, because psychological and mind-playing things are really interesting for me. I love to see it. It's why I love Death Note, it's why I like Code Geass. I like this kind of anime with smart characters who, instead of fight with their fists, they fight with their minds, and I really like it. Something that I'm not sure if it was shown well in the anime, I saw season 1 quite a while ago, so I'm not quite sure. But what I did find in the manga, at least, was that they really do show the trio having a will to understand the outside world a lot earlier on as well. I don't remember how it is in anime, like I said, but in the manga, very early on, they're trying to learn more about the outside world to prepare for when they go outside. In the manga, it's more like they're trying to read books, they're trying to understand the world map. They check the dates, the publication dates of the books to see what time, how far back things are, if things have changed, if there's been enough time for things to change. We see that one of the books was published in 2015, I think, and they're set in 2045. We see the world map is from 2010, maybe, and that it might have changed. So I like that. I like that they're not just taking everything for face value, but they're also trying to learn more about the world they're gonna have to go into, because they're thinking like 10 steps ahead. Like, they're not just focusing on the escape, but what is to come after the escape, and how they have to take the kids and they have to be able to survive in this new world that they know nothing about except from what they've read. Another thing is that when Sister Crone enters and the other baby, the new one, they take it as like a new source of information as well. Like, Sister Crone is a new source of information where we can get information out of her. And the baby as well, which they use to find out where the tracker is. Which is nice. They don't just take it as enemy, but like, we can find information. Their love of information and knowledge is also really shown and really shines through the manga. and it just makes me really admire them. But now about the demons. So in the anime, still even now, I hardly know anything about the demons. Even after season 2, we don't know much about it. We saw one village of demons. We saw Mujika and Sonju. We saw the demons that are coming to the farm to eat. But we don't know anything about the system of the demons. Like, is it a kingdom? Is it a democracy? I don't know. In the anime, we only knew that there were higher up demons who controlled the food chain, got the better food. But in the manga, in chapter 6 or 7, they show this like panel of this table full of demons, and there seems to be one that was in charge, and they talk of a boss, and they also bring a message to Isabella being from a grandmother. The grandmother is introduced much earlier on as well. There's a grandmother, she has a message from the boss. So from the manga, we know now that there is a boss of the demons. There is someone who is in charge and making the calls and who gets the best meat. I like that we see that, because in the anime, like I said, they were probably going to go into it in season 2, but they didn't have time for that. They rushed it all, so we don't really know anything about the demon society. But in the manga, they show you quite early on that there is a hierarchy, and it lets you understand more what the demon world is like and gives you more insight into that before the kids are thrown into it. And then chapter 8 and 9 is when the kids start training. So Emma comes up with the idea that they can play tag to train for escape. Ray is still very, very against taking everyone, but he's going along with it for now. We see them training with Emma and Norman and Ray in a way of playing tag, and then Sister Crone comes in, she's like, let me play. And what we saw in this game of tag, it was very much like the anime, but the drawings of Sister Crone, again, terrifying. I was going to go into this, but Sister Crone is drawn in the most chilling way. They really point out her features of her, like her face especially, like the grins that she gives. It gives me chills, and it's done really well in the anime as well, not just in the manga. But in the manga, we just have a longer period of time to just stare at her face as it is looking at you, and it's scary. Honestly, it's scary, and it's really well done in the way that it scares you. Well done, the one who's drawing these things, because they really pull off making Sister Crone, who is meant to be a motherly figure, look absolutely terrifying. And they do the same with Isabella as well. We see frames of her where she looks like the bad guy she is. She looks evil. She looks like she's scheming. She looks intimidating. And it's very hard sometimes to make someone who's meant to look very motherly also look scary, but they do it very well. And chapter 9 ended off with Sister Crone saying that she's on their side, and our trio trying to decide if they can trust her or not, and if they should go and talk to her. But that's all I really have to say about the first arc of the manga. It's just like the anime, a very nice introduction into Gracefield House, this world, and the escape, and the demons, and how they're going to be eaten, and how they have to get out. Anime season 1, episodes 1 to 3, which covered these 9 chapters, were very faithful and very well done. If only they could have had more insight into the minds of Ray, Emma, Norman, and Isabella even, it would have been better, but I know it's animation, so that's the perks of manga and books and stuff. We actually get to see more of what the characters are thinking. But yes, I really enjoyed these first 9 chapters. There's really not much else for me to say because it was very much like the anime, but it will get exciting when we get to the parts that aren't in the anime, or that the anime didn't adapt. But yeah, the next arc that we will be covering is the jailbreak arc, which I'm very excited for. I think that leads us to the end of season 1, as far as I know. I'll be reading it, I'll be back to talk about it. Please do let me know if you like this video, and if you want me to continue making this series, because I enjoyed it. I'm really liking reading the manga and talking to you guys about it. Let me know what you thought about the manga and the anime and the comparison between them. I'd love to hear from you guys. And that's all I have. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Feel free to like and subscribe if you did, and follow me on Twitter. Until next time, bye!